Okay, so let's just get right into it. When you hear the word hypnosis, what's the first thing that pops into your head? We're about to unpack what it is and, more importantly, what it really isn't.
Yeah, for most of us, we immediately picture some magician on a stage, swinging a watch, making people cluck like chickens. But what if I told you that's just a tiny theatrical slice of a much bigger, more fundamental truth about how your own mind works every single day? That's right. The wild thing is, from the moment we're born, we're using these principles without even knowing it. The real secret is that you are already an expert at this. You just haven't been shown how you're doing it. So, to really get our heads around this, we first need to pull back the curtain on that whole stage show version of hypnosis. We've got to move past the caricature to get to the reality of what this is. And trust me, it's probably not what you think.
So, the biggest myth out there is that hypnosis is some kind of external force, a magic trick that's done to you. But the reality? Nope. It's a completely natural state of mind, one that you and me and everyone else slips in and out of all the time.
And that brings us to the real heart of it all, your everyday trance state. We keep talking about this natural state of mind we all enter, but what even is that exactly? Let's get a really clear definition. This, right here, is the absolute core of it. Hypnosis is simply that state, that moment when what you're imagining inside your head has more power over your feelings in your body than the physical world outside of you does. I mean, think about it. You're sitting safely in your chair, right? But just the thought of a big presentation can make your heart start pounding and your palms get sweaty. Your imagination is literally changing your body's physiology. That's hypnosis in action. Or how about this one? Maybe you remember falling off your bike as a kid, and for a split second, your muscles clench as if it's happening all over again. Your brain is firing up the same old pathways just from a memory. That's your imagined reality taking the wheel. And look, this isn't some rare special event. The research suggests we can drift into these little trances, daydreaming, getting totally lost in a book, zoning out while driving as often as 50 times an hour. It's a fundamental part of how we're built. So if we're all constantly drifting into these super suggestible states, it brings up a huge question. Where did our most foundational beliefs, the deepest stuff about ourselves and the world, where did that programming actually come from? Well, the answer starts way back in childhood. You've probably heard this old saying. It survived for centuries for a very good reason. Early educators, religious figures, they knew intuitively what neuroscience is now confirming with data. The first 7 years are, well, they're pretty much everything. This timeline right here shows you exactly why those years are so critical. From birth to around age 7, a kid's brain is basically in a constant state of hypnosis. It's wide open, super suggestible, like a sponge. There's no filter. Everything just goes right in. Then, after age 7, we develop something called a critical faculty. Think of it like a bouncer for your mind. It starts analyzing new information and rejecting things that don't match what you already believe. But by then, the foundation of your personality, it's already set. Okay, so if our core programming was set when we were just kids, does that mean we're stuck with it? Absolutely not. As adults, we have 3 main ways to get past that bouncer at the door and write some new code for our minds. First, there's repetition, the brute force method, just creating a habit. Second, using altered states like meditation or, yes, formal hypnosis. But that third path, that's the real game changer, heightened emotion. So when your emotions are running high, I'm talking intense fear, overwhelming joy, white-hot anger, that critical bouncer at the door of your mind gets completely distracted. The gates to your subconscious just swing wide open, ready to accept a new program instantly, all in an effort to keep you safe. This is exactly why you can get 1,000 compliments and forget them an hour later. But one nasty comment made during a heated argument can stick with you for years. The high emotion of that moment just burned it directly into your programming. This gives us an incredibly powerful formula. When you combine a clear, vivid imagination of what you want with a powerful, heightened emotion, like excitement or pure joy or even relief, you create a brand new program. Your brain just accepts it as a new reality. And this brings us to our final section, and maybe the ultimate reframe of what all this knowledge is really for. This isn't just some interesting theory. This is the ultimate mind hack. See, any habit or belief you feel stuck with, from biting your nails to feeling I'm not good enough, it isn't just a behavior. It's a trance. It's an old program that you were hypnotized into by your environment a long time ago. So the goal isn't just to stop the behavior. It's to wake you up from the trance that's running it on autopilot.
The real power of understanding all this isn't about learning how to go into a trance. It's about learning to identify and wake up from the dozens of limiting trances we were all put into without our permission, usually when we were too young to know any better.
So the question is no longer, can I be hypnotized? The real question is, now that you know you're the one in control of the suggestions, what new reality are you going to choose to create?